Champions, welcome to the Paladins Invitational here at Hi-Rez Expo of 2017, presented to you by Twitch Prime. Now, my name is Vox. This is Hi-Rez Pretty Hair right here with a hair crew here today to kick things off for day number 1 of 4 days of intense Paladins action. Now, before we go any further, before we get into the meat of things, we do have a couple of things available for viewers watching at home via Twitch specifically.
That's right. You may have already heard this mentioned on the main stage, but Twitch linking, account linking is going to be a big part of the broadcast throughout the weekend. You're going to be available to get a lot of free stuff. Head on over to hirezstudios.com/link to get that started. You'll just be eligible just for watching. You will be able to receive all of those in-game goodies.
Absolutely, and that's not the only thing we have available. If you're after some more in-game swag, we do have a special commemorative digital loot pack for the Hi-Rez Expo event of 2017 available to you in-game. It's jam-packed full of goodies such as skins for Ying and Fernando and Victor. We've got MVP poses in there as well as some sprays, and I love this. Sprays being a recent addition to the game, we have the fantastic ability to, well, when you kill somebody, you can spray on the wall next to them and say, hey, I was here with Paladins Esports when it all began.
That's right. Options for BM is always a good thing to have. And we're going to go ahead and get right on into the action as we head on over to the schedule to be able to lay out what is actually going on here today on the Expo stage.
So let's take a look at the schedule. Starting things off, we are in the group play phase. It's a full round robin for Group A and Group B with 4 teams in, which means we have 6 matches total. 6 best of 5 sets. Kicking things off, first of all, with District69 versus Team QG, who are actually playing a double header here, so 2 in a row.
That's right. They will be handed off to play against Black Dragons, and then Black Dragons will have a double header of their own against #1 seed out of North America, Match Point.
#1 seed, well, #1 in other ways from what they've been telling us. Certainly, there's been a lot of bravado going on social media, but that's not the end of the competition by any means. Let's go to the second half of Group A's phase. It is Match Point following on versus Team QG. QG's last match of the day, which is going to have a little bit of a stress and pressure on them, because here, if they've not made it work so far, then they've really got to turn up the heat versus the veteran team of Match Point. Carrying things on, though, District69, they'll make a return.
Yep, the matches are only going to heat up from there. D69 and Black Dragons finishing out is going to be a big title fight between Match Point and D69. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of talk going on between these two teams. A lot of guys from EU think EU seed #2 is better than even NA seeded #1 Match Point.
That's a little bit out there. Match Point, they've been so very confident, but let's not beat around the bush. Let's go straight back through to the first matchup of the day. And as we said, it is District69 versus Team QG. District69, they're returning LAN champions, having won the DreamHack Founders Tournament back in DreamHack Summer in Jönköping, Sweden. But let's talk about Team QG first. They're hailing out of China. And, well, they've been a bit of a dark horse under the radar for the most part recently.
That's right. Not a lot of homework to be done on QG. Really only one VOD that was available to us that we were able to do some homework on. They ran into some visa issues coming over here, so not a lot of their core roster, but we do have some familiar faces you might actually recognize from HRX's past.
Now, I was here at last Hi-Rez Expo, and I do recognize a few of those names, but of course, we'll bring you those names when they are available on screen and when we do get into game. For the time being, though, let's head over to our map drafting phase, break it down for you, and see what map the teams will be starting things off on.
So this is going to be a best of 5, but there are 7 maps available in the pool, and each team is allowed to select one ban that they will just take out of the match pool. This will not be played in the series. QG's selection is going to be Fish Market, while D69 has selected Serpent Beach.
You see, I find this very peculiar. Serpent Beach is one of the more popularly played competitive maps for Paladins teams at the top level. District69 taking that away says to me that they're looking to push QG out of maybe their comfort zone, go for something a little bit different, but it will be Jaguar Falls, which is selected as the first map to play. This one's also popular, but it's a very different style, very close quarters here.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head there, D69. They're a veteran team. They're going to be comfortable on any map in the pool there, so pushing QG out of their comfort zone, what they're used to, Serpent Beach, one of the long-standing maps, but Jaguar Falls as well, so all things going to be equal here, I think, in terms of the map draft.
And I do feel like District69 potentially could pull ahead here just due to their playstyle. We typically see them playing a very teamfight-oriented playstyle. They run around as a group and mop up enemies one by one. Notably, one player from their roster, eLvenpath, has a history of playing Buck, and in the small confined corridors of Jaguar Falls, he's really going to thrive.
Going to be able to get out of line of sights, and this is a pack not necessarily super favored in the meta right now, so being able to bring this out, District69, I think, is going to give QG a run for their money here, knock them off balance a little bit early on, and looking to make a statement here in game one.
Well, let's find out how it's going to go in the draft then. District69 up with the first pick. Who are they going to go for? We see a lot of different openers available to us. Makoa is hovered and locked, so District69 getting their aggressive frontline on early.
Yep, Makoa here. A great pick all around Dredge Anchor, one of the most confirmable crowd controls in Paladins here. QG, I watched them in scrims a lot. They're able to work very well off of the Makoa Dredge Anchor, so a good look to take away from them.
Absolutely. Fernando and Cassie locked in for QG. Staples for the Paladins competitive scene. Fernando, just the beefiest champion in Paladins currently, and Cassie, very reliable damage, but District69, this is where it gets interesting. Androxus and Charlene locked in. And there's one player on D69 who's made a name for themselves on Andro, but Team QG, they're starting to get a bit more sustained in their composition.
Ooh, Maldamba is going to be hovered and locked in, as well as Buck. So taking that away from D69, we'll have to see eLvenpath on something different. And Buck was a pick that he played in every game of the EV's Winter Classic.
He's a big fan of the shotgun for sure. I mean, Barrick has the blunderbuss available to them, but it's just not the same. You haven't got that same dynamic with Heroic Leap. District69 will be rounding off their draft on the left-hand side of your screen, however, with Ruckus and Ying. So electing to go into the second favored healer, shall we say, the second favored support with Ying and Ruckus for the double front line. QG, last pick, Victor.
Yeah, looking to lay down that long-range pressure. Victor, very, very good at that. Overall, on paper, though, I think this Buck in particular, he is a flank character. He's looking to isolate someone squishy in the backline. But really, the best target for him to do that would be Shaolin, but Shaolin is so effective at going toe-to-toe with his ability Planet. It's one of the strongest base kit abilities, one of the longest cooldown, and one of the heaviest hitting.
Certainly, when you do go down into Planted, you're firing off several 800 damage shots, and if you confirm that after impaling Buck into a wall, stunning them with your ultimate fire, your Impaler arrow as well, while Buck's flank is definitely going to be going south, and Buck will be sent straight back to base. With this Victor pickup last, though, it is reliable damage, and that's interesting to me. I mean, it's necessary somewhere. You've got Cassie, you've got Victor. There's a great deal of direct damage coming through here on QG, and it is interesting that we're not seeing an AoE damage champion picked up. Evie slipped entirely through the draft as well.
Which is nuts. I mean,
yeah.
She's been at the top of the draft for so long, for so many teams. It just seems like such a staple pick here. The only area damage-based champion in the game is going to be Fernando, and his damage is nothing to scoff at if he gets in your face.
Oh, absolutely, and especially as we do transition towards itemization later into the game. If Fernando goes by unmitigated, well, then he's a force to be reckoned with. That Fireball 2 from Fernando coming in handy versus Ying has built-in anti-heal. But I do want to talk about District69 with their very aggressive draft of Ruckus and Makoa. Ruckus was a bit of a wild card coming back into the meta recently. Nothing changed to my knowledge, but all of a sudden, he was there, and he was doing very well.
And part of that, I think, was Maldamba, actually, one of the more recent champions in Paladins, coming into his own. People starting to figure out a champion that complements Ruckus very well. We won't see that this game because they're not on the same team. But I think that forced people to play Ruckus more, and in turn, they just started to figure out Ruckus, figure out his strengths that may have not been seen before.
Absolutely. Now, we do have Ruckus paired up with a Ying here. Ying, a little bit less mobile than Maldamba. She relies on, well, she's kind of, you place your illusions, they'll just heal players up without you really having to do anything, but she needs to get established and get kind of bunkered down before she's able to get all that healing off effectively. Do you think this team composition is still going to work with Ying, or were they really looking for the Maldamba here?
I think it'll still work here. Like you mentioned, it does take setup. Ruckus, very momentum-based. Ying requiring some setup time, but I think the Makoa first pick is going to be clutch. This will allow District69 to get that odd man advantage, get that early pick, really set the tone, and kind of maybe get QG to back off, scare them a little bit, and buy them that space and that time that they need to get their composition set up.
You mentioned Makoa. We should absolutely talk about why he is so dangerous. You mentioned setup here. He's got a specific ability in his kit that I'm thinking of, I think everybody is thinking of, because it's so iconic to him. Would you mind taking me through that and explaining exactly how we can confirm setup from that?
That's right. I mean, you can see it right there on his player card. The Dredge Anchor is the staple of what Makoa does. He throws it out, He can serve enemies up to his team. They will be stunned for the duration of the hook. But not only that, Makoa can turn while the player is being pulled towards him, and the player will end up wherever Makoa is facing when the duration of Dredge Anchor ends. So it's very easy to just set up kills for Shaolin, confirm damage, headshots from Ruckus. It is an extremely dangerous ability.
And not just that, you said hook and serve. When it comes down to it, we've got to remember that on certain maps, including Jaguar Falls and Paladins, there are environmental hazards. So if you can knock players off the edge using Cassie's knockback from disengage maybe, or even Impaler Arrow, it's great. Now with Makoa, if he dredges somebody, turns 180 degrees, throws them off the cliff, that's a very effective way to get rid of, say, maybe a high health pool Fernando in one shot.
Yeah, it's very dangerous here. Another big thing to look at here is positioning for Makoa and Fernando. Like we mentioned, Dredge Anchor comes with a stun, and big defensive cooldown for QG is going to be Fernando's shield. That's going to be the baseline of their structure, of the spearhead of their point fight. If Makoa can get behind Fernando and land that Dredge Anchor, maybe even throwing him off the map, like we've seen Theo do so many times, it's a great look because it will send that major defensive ability in Fernando's shield on cooldown.
That's so crucial. One thing that we haven't touched on, however, is whilst Makoa does activate the Dredge Anchor, he does stun and pull in their opponent, he's very vulnerable whilst doing so. Could this be an opportunity whilst Makoa himself is immobilized for QG to capitalize on getting some free damage onto one of District69's frontliners?
Yeah, and this is going to come down to Victor. They're going to have to keep him safe from Perdo's Androxus, and boy, is that a tall task.
Now, we are assuming that Perdo will be playing Androxus, one of the showstopper players from District69, the Godslayer himself, who made a name for himself at LAN, at DreamHack with the Founders Tournament in Jönköping, Sweden in the last summer of 2016, played out of his mind. I do have to wonder then who's going on Shaolin, because we know that Perdo plays a very good Shaolin, and with no buck on the table, we do know that eLvenpath has a bit of a history of playing Androxus when push comes to shove.
And push has come to shove in this situation here. D69, I think, have a pretty interesting storyline here as well. They have some substitute players we mentioned.
They do.
Visa issues from Team QG. Their captain, one of their main role players here, Bugsy, is not going to be joining us. Filling his shoes will be unbelievable. He fills in the tank role, so he'll either be on Makoa or Ruckus. But that's a big point for D69. Fernando is unbelievable. His comfort pick as well as Pip. You know, neither of those are in D69's draft here, so we'll have to see where he is going to come into play.
Now, you see, whilst unbelievable, he is very comfortable on Fernando, is very comfortable on Pip. I think that District69, although they're playing with a substitute, they've been working with them for long enough now that they're starting to value, okay, let's give them something they're a little bit more uncomfortable on that works better for the team. So I fully expect Unbe to maybe be on the Makoa or the Ruckus, as they are primarily a frontline player. However, can QG kind of take advantage of this? Could they decide that maybe Unbelievable could be the weak link here?
We'll have to see, and you make an interesting point. Could he be on Makoa? This was something, personally, I was watching very closely towards wrapping up at the end of the EV's Winter Classic, because this has been such a staple pick for every single frontliner in Paladins, and we'll have to see if he can do it.
Absolutely. So we will now be getting into game number one, the very first game of today at the Paladins Invitational group stage play. Let's break down your teams for you live on the screen. Fighting out of the blue corner, the left-hand side of your spectator UI is District69, led by Unbelievable on Ruckus, Perdo, and Androxus. Shipa will be playing Shaolin, eLvenpath on Makoa, and gerrah on Ying. And
for Team QG, Yejing will be on Fernando, Mikasa on Buck, Spira on Maldamba, MasterLu on Cassie, and Knight on Victor.
Interesting. Now, Knight was a big fan of Cassie from what I remember reading up about Team QG. Going over the Victor might affect their place double. Watch out from behind. Perdo!
Perfect.
4 shots in a row. Takes down one. Reversal is up, trying to keep him safe. Buck very low as well. Nether Step will keep Perdo safe. But watch out, Sheep on the backside. And the kills are just going all in favor of District69.
Perdo coming around the corner. Spooked MasterLu. He dodge rolled off of the map. No pressure. Big whoopsie daisy there from Team QG. 69% already on the capture point objective for District69. They will be awarded 1 point for this. You can see the scoreboard goes up to 4. First team to reach 4 points will win the game.
So there we go. Objective capture rolling through for District69, and no real contest on the comeback there at all. Team QG weren't able to really get out their way out of base, and part of that seems to really come down to Makoa.
That's right, 2 minutes and 15 seconds here remaining. Good positioning from both teams. No one stepping too far over the bounds right now. Fernando's shield is going to be up. We mentioned that's a big defensive cooldown for QG. It's now down. The hook comes out. They're looking to go in on this.
Nice Impaler arrow does set up one kill. Can Perdo find the shots? No. Reversal is up, keeping him safe, but no more damage confirmed. But Fernando has overextended, shut down with a headshot, and now Perdo is looking for blood.
Looking to get pincered here. MasterLu has been a rough spot right now. D69, I don't think have given up a death yet. All of these slash lines are still perfect, splitting up QG and pincering them. Heat Haze already starting to come online. That is Shaolin's ultimate ability, the first to come online.
But will it even be necessary here? We're yet to see. Dredge Anchor is available for eLvenpath. They do miss the buck, but still pick up the kill on the backside of this fight. Nobody is contesting the payload. District69 will push this one through for free as the Fernando is too far away. No frontline presence or pressure. And that is District69 with an early conversion, 2 points up on the scoreboard.
Yep, so they get 1 point for the capture, 1 point for the conversion. It is all or nothing. So Team QG had the chance to defend there. Should they have hold that, they would be awarded a point. As well as you can see on the net worth chart, it is all District69 items starting to come out as well. You can see these color-coded here. Red is going to be the offensive items, things like Cauterize, it's going to reduce healing, things like Wrecker, that's going to make the shields fall a little quicker. Blue, that's going to be defensive. That's what players are looking to pick up to mitigate damage. Most of these are going to be Havens right now. Now Haven, it mitigates direct damage, and that makes sense in this matchup because Fernando is the only one that is area damage based. Every other character in this game is direct damage based.
But still, with that net worth differential, we are seeing Team QG fall behind in credits. They can buy less items, and this might put them at a disadvantage. Early Dredge Anchor from Makoa won't find anything, and Perdo is in trouble.
He is. Fernando just now rejoining his team, but early capture point, zone control, going to be given to D69. That hook is going to be good from eLvenpath.
And it converts on a kill onto one. Perdo is diving in, dives straight back out again after taking a lot of poke, but Fernando's been dredged into danger. Barrage incoming, caught by reversal, it's coming through, here we go. Shipa closes a kill out onto Yi as well. MasterLu answers back with one, but no, it's all in District69's favor. Again, at 69% and rising, they are in dominant control of this capture objective.
eLvenpath falling lower and lower, but he's going to be safe for now. Just 2 deaths on the side of D69 as they clean up some of these kills, clean up the capture objective, and now 3-0. They have the chance to close out game number 1 here should they convert this payload, and they haven't given us any reason to believe otherwise.
Immortal now going to be used by Fernando from QG in combination with Dread7 to buy some time, keep their Fernando alive, but still with 2 minutes left on the payload push, that's a very early utilization of ultimates that are vital for a clutch defense, buying time for your team to respawn when the payload gets very close to its conversion point. Maybe a bit of a lack of trigger discipline coming through from QG as they are scared of District69's offensive pressure.
Yeah, and Dread Serpent missing in that last fight didn't help. Fernando's going to drop. That's QG's frontliner now down. Ancient Rage doesn't have the chance to come out. A little bit of crowd control from Maldamba will shut down eLvenpath.
But it's not necessary. The Ancient Rage, which would have kept Makoa alive, the ultimate, which puts them back to 10,000 HP, just not necessary because they can depend and rely on Perdo in the backline. Buck Wild is just going to try and buy Buck some time. He's impaled on top of the wall and shut down, and it's all blue on the kill feed again. QG, they're dropping like flies, and this conversion could end the game for District69 already.
D69 looking strong. 3 ultimates available to try and convert here. Ancient Rage, Hexafire, and Accursed Arm. All heavy hitting team fight closers. Fernando's going to fall. No one from QG is here. Hexafire comes out just for style.
Right at the end there, used just to pressure on straight through, make sure that nobody was around that conversion point and allow the payload to slide through for a very, very quick 4-0 victory. You can see District69 on screen right now, looking relatively content with their performance. QG don't seem to be too discouraged, but they've got some figuring out to do because that last game they seemed a little bit disjointed.
There was a lot of big things, easy fixes, I think, for QG moving forward here. They look stoic, they look ready. MasterLu rolling off the edge at the start was not a good one. A couple of big missed team ultimates is going to spell doom and gloom for them as well. But as we head over to the stat screen, we can see just how clean this game was from D69. A total of 5 deaths across all 5 of their members.
Absolutely remarkable. What numbers speak to me as well? Low is going to be the solo kills column right here. So this is very important. If you manage to kill an opponent without any other member of your team dropping damage onto them, you get a solo kill. That's fairly self-explanatory. District69, despite having a lot of eliminations, only having 3 of those, just shows how cohesively they're working together as a unit. They're working as a team, not individual players, despite Perdo going off around the backside of the fight. And this is giving them such an advantage when it comes down to objective play.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that we see gerrah on this Ying, the perfect game, 16-0 with one of those solo kills here. So the support from D69 getting a little bored, sitting on the objective, wanted to get into the mix here. But objective time is a category we should highlight here because QG struggling 4 seconds on one player, 1 on Knight, and only 12 on their frontliner, Fernando. So they're going to have to find a way to control the space a little bit better around the point if they're going to stand a chance, because kills don't win games.
So much of that space control did appear to come through from eLvenpath's Makoa. Might be picked up in the next game, game 2 coming up shortly. But before we get to champion picks, we got to go straight back to the map draft and find out where we'll be playing this second game.
So the 4-0 for D69 on Jaguar Falls. Moving right along, though. Going to be headed to the Frozen Guard. It is cold here in Atlanta, and it will be cold here in game number 2.
Absolutely, as we do see Frozen Guard, a map with some long lines of sights. It's a little interesting here. We might see some different drafts come out from District69 if they're beginning to feel each other. Maybe a Kinessa might be picked up, but with the Shaolin being so successful last game, I do expect to see that again at least.
Yeah, but I expect D69 to try and, show their flex their picks a little bit here. They don't want to show too much, but they want to show they're looking strong. Get everything warm. Keep everything warm. You don't want to go too long without playing stuff that you're comfortable with, and we'll have to see just what that is as we head into the champion draft.
So here we go, coming up on screen. This time, first pick, well, once again, it is District69 holding the advantage here. First pick, Fernando is hovered. Will this be the Fernando that we are looking for Unbelivable? Going back to that comfort pick, perhaps.
I expect so, and I like this. They're switching it up. They're figuring it out. They have to try. They're going to need a lot of tools in the toolkit here as this tournament moves along. They got a lot of teams to play, a lot of homework to do. They got to have a lot of drafts ready to rock.
I do like this. QG now picking Makoa and Cassie. Cassie just again a staple of the damage champion class in Paladins, but Makoa did so much work on QG's backline as soon as they tried to engage last game that taking that away from District69 is valuable here.
Absolutely, and answering back, Eevee hovered, locked in for the first time. This is a big talking point, a very highly contested pick in Paladins currently, and Shipa is a master on this character. So you are in for a treat. Shaolin locked in as well. Those long sight lines going to be locked down.
Coming into play, Maldamba once again taken for Team QG. Dread Serpent, their big ultimate with the AoE Fear.
I like it.
Not doing a great deal of work last game, but if better utilized, could be a tide turner. Ruckus as well picked up now, so we're talking about the golden triangle of Makoa, Maldamba, and Ruckus, which competitive players have been going on so much about this past week for QG, but District69, they're going different here again.
Yeah, perfect. They need a flank, though. Victor and Ying locked in. This is a backline that Buck can get in and mix it up on a lot of characters with not a lot of mobility. Shaolin and Victor specifically, they pump out a lot of damage here, and I think that the key for District69 is a lot of times as these picks like Shaolin and Victor, you have to recognize when you're not going to get away from a guy like Buck, when you just have to go pedal to the metal and pump out the damage that these guys are so good at doing.
And even if you don't get the kill, if your teammates can clean it up, then you do manage to equalize and you hold steady at least. So on Frozen Guard, let's talk champion dynamics. We're in the Winter Witch's homeland here. Eevee, she does well on ice maps, but are we looking at anybody else who's really going to be holding the fort, holding the throne here?
I just like QG's draft as a whole. I think it's a great switch up. Maldamba, Ruckus, Makoa is a sturdy front line. I think they're going to be able to do great things with it. I'm excited to see if Knight's on Cassie, and he is. Mikasa will be on Buck this time around. MasterLu on Maldamba, Yejing on Ruckus, and Spira on Makoa.
Still fighting out of the blue corner, District69 with Shipa on Eevee, as mentioned before. Perdo this time on Victor. Unbelivable on Ying, makes sense. He's a pit player. He does play supports. eLvenpath on Fernando, another staple champion in his pool, and gerrah on Shaolin. This one's going to start off early, as always, with some poke from Eevee.
Yep, being able to blink in, blink out. Poke is Eevee's specialty. Very hard-hitting champion. The first dredge anchor of the game, though, is going to miss.
And that's very important. No setup confirmed, no peel now available. First blood, though, is going through to Team QG as one gets shut down, but Perdo pulled straight into a low HP. Makoa is able to confirm so much damage. Double kill for Perdo. Can he find the triple? Triple kill coming through. No, Shipa cleans up Knight, and we do see Maldamba slither off to, well, not much safety as they are picked clean by gerrah.
And I mean, you just see Perdo aiming down the sights right now. No pressure, no worries, no sweat on his brow. This is a problem for Team QG. This Buck, Mikasa, has to get on him. He cannot allow Victor to go uncontested in the backline. Victor, a champion that can do so much damage from long range if left uncontested. They have to turn up the heat on Perdo.
But right now, it isn't damage, which is really at the forefront of everybody's minds. It's the dismounting that was coming through out of base, but damage is still there. Gerrah takes out Makoa. No frontline presence left, with the exception of Ruckus for QG, who does manage to get 1 kill and trade, but double kill again for Perdo, the second time this game. District69, they look relatively unstoppable here.
District69 haven't been fighting around the point. They left one to capture it. 1-0 lead, D69. Big fireball, big zone pressure from eLvenpath. This Fernando giving up his life, but for a good cause is more than worth it to die to confirm space around the objective.
Absolutely, we are going to see Shipa try and land some preliminary poke on the players. Actually look for an assassination on Maldamba. Gord goes down, trying to keep him alive, but the damage from Fernando now comes through. Shots confirmed to Maldamba, just the AoE, not the direct impacts, which do so much work. And Ice Storm used in the end, trying to save eLvenpath. It does successfully. Perdo will clean up one. Shipa cleans up Maldamba as well. And a double kill for another player of District69 is just too much for QG to deal with.
Yeah, you saw that Ice Storm ability come out as the payload nears conversion here. No one really able to contest Makoa just now. Shell spinning back in.
And look at all the damage confirmed onto Makoa as soon as they do enter the objective area. Burst down almost immediately before the shield comes up. Buck jumps in, Buck jumps out again as he will be sent back to base shortly. Look at the burst coming through. eLvenpath with 2 as well. Double path. 3 players of District69 with 2 kills to their name and the conversion as well.
Net worth all in favor of D69 right now, looking near flawless as we head into round number 2. 2 ultimates available. Unbelievable's Illusory Rift. This is an AoE-based heal that will keep all of D69 healthy. Only 2 cauterizes on the side of Team QG. That is those red cross items next to Mikasa and next to Knight. This will reduce the healing that Ying is able to do her teammates by 30% for 2 seconds. Currently leading the healing graphs though. Unbelievable, doing a good job on this Ying.
There's a lot of healing coming out from Unbelievable's Ying, but it still doesn't feel much compared to what we might see in other competitive games, and I feel that's partially due to the fights just being so fast. If there's nobody left to heal, yeah, absolutely, they're not close to each other, but if everybody's dead, then there's no damage to heal up.
Rolling in now is Knight, blasted almost immediately, taking off the back. Good pressure from Mikasa though, he's getting onto this Victor, they're making the adjustments that they need to.
They're trying to confirm the kill into Victor, but the Illusory Rift was used by Ying in the back end there, just keeping everybody alive. And one by one, QG will fall. Knight has respawned, but everybody's been shut down. They did manage to achieve 40% or 46% on the capture objective, though, so doing better than they had done previously.
Yeah, I mean, they're making the adjustments. They're making progress right now, 46, 45, and climbing, but the zone is something QG needs to find for themselves if they're going to capture. You see how dangerous this is. Shipa out here on the CB, dismounting everyone, not even giving QG a chance to get back on the objective. 71, 78, and climbing for D69.
And there's just nobody close enough to close the gap for Team QG. District69's second capture of the game will be uncontested, as Shipa is just too pesky to deal with, getting kill after kill or distraction after distraction in the backline, and nobody from QG is dealing with them, and this seems to be a really big thorn in their side.
This is just terrifying. Ice Storm comes out. That's Eevee's ultimate, persistent, cripple, and slow, so nowhere to go for the rest of QG as they are cleaned up. Pretty perfect games right now, going for Perdo 9-0. Unbelievable, still perfect at 2-0.
Also escorting the payload will be Unbelievable, as Ying, their deployables do have an extended range in which you can place them to heal up your allies, and therefore this allows your frontline to push out heavily into, well, the frontline of the fight and do a lot of disruption, exactly as eLvenpath is doing as they kick off another team fight versus Makoa.
And now, Victor just trying to stay alive right now. Everyone trying to get on his case. They're recognizing that Perdo is the problem, and they're going to take it out.
Absolutely. Perdo, one of the hyper carries on the side of District69, has been shut down. Back in the fight, there is going to be a Hexafire use, but it's a complete backdoor coming through. Nobody from QG sees it coming. District69, they slip it through. That's going to sting.
That's got to sting. It's just an awareness issue right now. D69 spreading out the map so effectively. These zones, you can see it on their faces. They're confident. Gerrah's signature smirk.
And what was really important there as well is I feel like we saw eLvenpath on Fernando and Perdo on Victor draw focus fire, force out some ultimates, and everybody went to shut them down because Perdo, well, you got to deal with them, otherwise they're going to kill your entire team. Just left Ying to keep on the payload cart, push it through, and as we go back to the scoreboard, we can probably see that reflected in Ying's objective time from this game.
Yeah, they create so much space here. eLvenpath, more traditionally aggressive frontliner, you can see only 23 objective time for the frontliner, quote, for D69. He was off creating space. leaving Unbelivable to sit 14-0, 176 on the objective time. He was just pushing the payload, having a good old time.
Actually did get out healed by the Maldamba in the end, though. Let's check out that healing stat. 16,000 to 18,000. MasterLu doing a little bit more work in that respect. Maybe those cauterized cards starting to come into play, but it just didn't seem to be enough for QG.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit more of Unbelivable was actually just sitting on the objective half the map away, where the rest of his team was off zoning, creating space, and no worries for that payload push here. A lot of good damage coming out from D69. 42,000 on Shipa's Eevee, 44,000, the best in the game from Perdo. He didn't see much pressure. 20 eliminations, 1 death, the same slash line as gerrah on Shaolin.
But I feel like he did at times. We saw Mikasa try and jump into the backline on Victor.
Absolutely.
As Buck try and go for the assassination, but the team responds. District69 have great communication in their comms. They know when the pressure is coming, and they respond to it immediately. We saw the illusory rift come out of Ying as well, so we saw all that AoE healing come through, as well as eLvenpath and Fernando peel back just to force Buck out of the issue, and this allows your all-important source of damage to stay alive.
That's right, and you can see just highlighted in eLvenpath's play, there are so many ways to play these frontliners, getting aggressive in the backline as eLvenpath did. Unbelivable when he's on this Fernando. It's going to be looking to more control the zones around the point. A lot of defensive shields used to provide peel for his teammates. That's incredibly important to do as a frontliner. You don't want to just stand there doing nothing. As a tank, the whole philosophy of a tank is to draw attention to yourself. If you're just standing there and no one's shooting you and they're saving the best for last, you're not doing your job.
You got to get right up there in their faces, but who else got up in people's faces? Shipa on Eevee. You mentioned that damage stat being out of this world in the previous game. They're sitting on 2 solo kills this game. We'll see if they pull it out going into game number 3. This is a best of 5 sets, or a best of 5 sets in the groups, folks. So let's go and see if District69's third map up, being Frog Isle, will be the last game we're going to see between these two teams.
So this is the last Temple Rune Bear, a lot of hazard zones. So Makoa, I think, going to be another highly contested pick. You mentioned here as we were going over some of the drafts, Makoa can hook and serve people straight off of the map here. Another Theo specialty on this one.
Certainly, but that's not just all we see with the environmental hazards coming into play. You know who else really thrives on maps like Frog Isle with a lot of edges around, a lot of water which can send enemies soaring into the drink? Potentially Bomb King. Now, Jolt has been reduced a little bit in its efficacy, being brought back in line with how it's meant to be, but Bomb King does have Poppy Bomb, which they can still throw enemies off the map with. Might be seeing that come out in the draft. We can always hope.
I certainly hope so as we get into the champion draft for what could be the last game of the first set of the day. Bomb King, a character that excels in low ping environments, and that is exactly where we find ourselves here today. I can't wait to see if that's going to come out.
First pick, though, does go for the 3rd time in a row to District69. They're going no nonsense. They want their hard carries locked in. Eevee, the first pick up, and well, I love it.
Yep, it did so much work in the last game. Shipa, Fernando's going to be hovered, and Makoa as well. So this is the danger in picking up that Eevee first pick, is you have the risk of giving up double front line.
And we know how strong that is on a map like Frog Isle, which has an objective capture zone where it sort of funnels all of your enemies and allies together. So having a good, strong defensive front line is so important. District69 could elect to go full point break here and just pick up more damage, and that's exactly what it looks like they're going to try and do, as Cassie and Shaolin, the 2 bow twins, are locked in for the team in blue.
So the key here is those they have no fall off. They can do their damage from any range. Eevee as well, and the Eevee is a character that traditionally likes to get up close when she's trying to assassinate, but she has no fall off as well. She is just as content to play artillery style, just lay back into those shields. Maldamba, Victor going to be the response, so some long range pressure coming out from QG as well.
You can't forget about that hit scan heal coming through from Maldamba. Mending Spirits, their alternate fire, will heal up allies over any distance as long as you can confirm that skill shot. And skill shots in a healer, that's no easy feat if you're being pressured in the backline by an Eevee. Frontline will be locked in for District69, however, going with Barak and Ying for a double deployable team composition. Both Barak with his turrets and Ying with her illusions could provide a bit of disruption towards that Fernando Makoa frontline setup from QG.
Ooh, the sky's being hovered right now. I would say Drogos is the pick here, but no, it will be the Pip. Locked in Pip, another support in the game, but not that he specializes in healing. Pip more focused on crowd control, good damage as well.
Absolutely, they do have a massive slow in their kit. They have their Evil Mojo ultimate, which polymorphs enemies into 1500 HP chickens for a limited period of time, so easy to burst down tanks. But we can't forget about the fact that Pip is a source of AoE damage as well. That area of effect Splash is great for applying item effects like Cauterize for anti-heal, and also for bypassing the commonly picked up defensive item of Haven.
Yeah, so something from this draft, though, that tells me a lot about QG is they don't favor Drogos, because Drogos in this situation is going to be very effective at breaking up Barrack Ying, as well as there's not a lot of great counters to it on District 69. Cassie and Shaolin, they're projectile based, so there's going to have to be some lead in terms of trying to take that dragon out of the sky.
Especially with the double deployable team composition coming out of District 69, Drogo's ability to throw out a fire spit, hit it with a rocket, and detonate it in midair for massive AoE damage is unparalleled when dealing with this composition, but maybe they think the pip is enough, especially with recent changes to their ultimate, so it now goes straight through shields.
We'll have to see if it is enough. Welcome back here, D69 versus Team QG, game number 3. D69 still on the left side of the spectator UI, Shipa on Eevee, eLvenpath on Barrack, Perdo on Cassie, Unbelivable on Ying, and gerrah on Shaolin.
Of course, coming back once again, Team QG fighting out of the right-hand side of your screen, the red corner, I should say. Mikasa will be playing Pip, Yi will be on Fernando MasterLu, Maldamba, Spyra on Makoa, and Knight playing Victor for the second time this set.
2 cauterizes for both teams, defensive havens, and 1 wrecker for D69 trying to bust up some of these shields, but Shipa getting a good angle. A lot of poke damage could come out here.
That is a lot of AoE damage straight from one shot from Eevee, confirming it from range now as well. Perdo on Cassie will be looking to pick up the first blood here if they can find the damage onto Fernando, but shield is up and available. Still, Eevee will be looking to pressure the backline, diving in and out with Wormhole Blink. First blood does go through to QG as they take out eLvenpath, but Perdo and gerrah 4 up with a triple kill to Perdo and 2 to gerrah. That's the full house wipe, and devastation meets QG.
And we saw great target switching, I think, from Perdo. Fernando got in his face. As soon as he popped the shield, Perdo was just like, all right, I'm done with you. He just rolled past him, went straight to the back line, keeping the priority. So we got to see some more pressure come out from the frontliners here if they're going to call the attention.
And that's such an important element of Fernando. When their shield is up, they're dealing no damage, so you can just kind of ignore them unless you're trying to get them off the objective. And speaking of the objective, District 69 uncontested for the latter part of this capture, get the first point on the scoreboard of Game 3 for the 3rd time in a row.
Splitting up this team fight now. Shipa in the back line deep. Doesn't have a lot of cooldowns available. Sword just now coming up. Under pressure, though, is Perdo. He's going to be forced out for the time being.
182 HP, trying to stay out of combat to regenerate, but no, Pip finds him, shuts him down, and that'll buy a little bit of breathing room as one of the primary carries with District 69 does go back to base. gerrah takes out Fernando before they are sent skywards as well, and Pip too shut down by Unbelivable. Team QG are down 2 players, and still the payload advance is headed by eLvenpath in this environment. Somebody has to make a stand here and shut down this frontliner.
Just a little bit split up right now, I feel, as QG just getting picked off. 2 of them are diving the back line. Victor is sitting way in the back line trying to stay safe. So I'd like to see a little bit more of a grouping come out from Team QG.
Especially when you're putting yourself into a line of sight with that Shaolin Impale coming through from the gerrah and then Perdo just following up. Can they find Pip before he goes through into the base? No! But the disengage off the map pulls down Barrack as well. No, Rocket Boots keeps eLvenpath safe. My goodness, Perdo finds 2 to close out the conversion, and District 69 matched that with 2 points up on the scoreboard.
And I mean, that was just the perfect play to utilize both of the hazard zone capabilities here. The disengage, but Makoa says, if I'm going down, you're coming with me here. D69 in the lead, currently on the net worth chart. And a big talking point is D69 are getting their cauterized 2s online. That is 60% healing reduction, and they always get it done in round number 2. So that's a lot of early pressure. Even having 2 supports, I don't know if it's going to be enough.
And speaking of early pressure, gerrah on Shaolin electing to go into Rekka. Rekka rank 2 now for 150% increased damage done to shields, and that stacks on planted as well, so there's a huge amount of shield tread capability coming from them.
Yep, those shields are going to look like wet paper towels as we head into round number 2 here. Perdo currently on fire, finding so many killing blows. 7-1 right now for the Cassie. QGNight with some favorable positioning off the start. They got to keep an eye out for Shipa, and there's the Ice Storm.
Down comes Barrage as well. Knight finds 1 with a kill onto eLvenpath, drops some more damage. Perdo will answer back though. Now a polymorph onto the backline. This is the opportunity for QG to capitalize, but they don't find any follow-up kills. They leave their Victor exposed in the backline for Perdo to shut down. No, Unbelivable will finish that one up after a missed shot, and Shipa is now trying to actually respond to the backline pressure coming from QG, who don't seem to know exactly where they want to play this objective fight.
Great job sticking together, though, and working as a team. QG showing some great adjustments here. Perdo was able to separate Knight from the fight, and I feel like that was a big factor in why D69 are able to take it back right now. Sitting at 51% on the objective, QG didn't get a lot done with that team fight win.
Now, this is a very, very interesting use of Immortal here. It is a selfish use of Immortal from Fernando, their ultimate, which will keep them from dropping below 1500 HP for a limited period of time, but it's buying time for the respawns to come through from their team as District69 climb up above 90% on the capture, but still nobody from QG is actually back on the objective. Nobody has responded, even though Perdo falls. The hyper carry Cassie does get shut down. It is still 3 points on the objective scoreboard to District69.
Ice Storm available for Shipa. He's doing a great job at charging this ultimate very frequently and also not sitting on it for too long. That's not something you want to do here. Taking a lot of burst damage from Makoa, though. Shipa's going to go down. Nicely timed shot out of Ice Block from Spira.
And that's so important, not giving Shipa the time to soar or blink away, making sure the EV is off the table. Team QG are now poised to make a respectable defense if they can stay out of the long line of sight damage coming through from Gerrah, who'll rip through, well, the teammates and shields alike with planted. Look at that damage.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous line of sight he's holding down. He's completely safe while doing this too. Shell spin combination with Shell Shields comes out. Here's the Ancient Rage.
That's the Makoa ultimate coming through, but watch out, Ancient Rage will buy some time around the objective. Such a massive health pool, can't be burst down, but still all around them. It is just Spyra watching their teammates fall one by one. They're going to try and Shell spin back to safety, find some damage to Cassie, but forced into Shell Shield again on Maldamba score to try and stay alive. District69 have a free path towards the conversion point.
I would have liked to see a little bit more aggression, I think, coming out. There's a Dread Serpent that's not really going to find the mark again, but Makoa had full HP there. Nice aggression coming out from Shipa in the back line's going to find Knight.
And we are just left with a Fernando on the objective contesting, who will fall. Respawn comes through from Makoa. Nice dismount blink coming through from Eevee. The Impaler arrow keeps him away. Shell Shield is up. Nobody will make their way towards the objective. And District69 close out Game 3 and their third 4-0 victory.
Yep, just looking calm, cool, and collected from D69. I feel it was a good thing that we saw a lot of different types of draft coming out from D69, showing their god pools, showing that they're not really forced pigeonholed into any one type of play style.
So this is an interesting point to bring up on LAN especially. We're in the very first game of group stages. District69 are starting to show their hand a little bit, it feels like, here. Now, since they'll be playing some very veteran opponents later in the set, is that something which you consider wise, or are they coming out with a bit more, maybe some posturing here?
I think these are all fairly standard compositions from D69. They're just making sure everything, all the screws are tight on what they're comfortable with. I wouldn't say any of that is necessarily pocket pick territory.
Well, I would argue that we didn't see eLvenpath play Buck.
And that was very strange, but QG took it away from him a couple of times.
That's true, very true. And while you can't pick a champion that's already been drafted, that's the important thing about Paladins. We have this champion draft phase, but up on your screen right now is the scoreboard from the previous game. Once again, my eyes are drawn to the solo kill column. District69 with only 2 on their team so far, despite the highest eliminations, which is kills and assists in game going to Perdo at 23. Again, the teamwork really comes through.
Great work. I think seeing Unbelivable on a lot of these supports is pretty interesting to know. It feels almost getting back to his roots, eLvenpath, on a lot of these aggressive frontliners as well. And I don't think this is how D69 is going to be playing later into the tournament. So in terms of showing their hand, I think D69 are still in a good spot. Unbelivable, you know, he did a great job on these supports, but was given so much room, really didn't have to do much.
Wasn't pressured out, and that's exactly the kind of environment that you want to start your substitute player off in, right? When they're not under a great deal of pressure, they can get used to the LAN environment again, and they're feeling a little bit more comfortable, confident, and then you put them out of their comfort zone. Then you start pushing them a little bit. But QG, they did have a few good picks. One thing that I just didn't feel was capitalized on too well was the Evil Mojo ultimate, but with the Dread Serpent and the Evil Mojo available to the side of QG, that's something which they could potentially pull out later on today in the group stages and make work very, very well.
Absolutely. Only one Evil Mojo came out, but that's going to do it for us here in this first series between D69 and Team QG. We're going to head back to the schedule, take a look at what's next.
So you can see that in the standings on the left-hand side of your screen, District69 are currently 1 set up. QG 1 set down, and it was a 3-0 victory in the best of 5 game set. Coming up next, however, which will B, one of the other international, shall we say, matches of the day, Black Dragons make their land stage in America debut to face off against QG in their doubleheader. That won't be me taking the mic for this one, however, I will be dropping out to allow Nick to come up alongside, well, it's none other than Hi-Rez, one of the designers of this game.
That's right, Black Dragons QG going to be the match up next. I'm personally very excited. I watched a good amount of scrims between these two teams in the days leading up to the Expo. Everything looked very even among the international competition, so we're definitely in for a treat. QG, I think, coming in hot is going to have a little bit of an advantage, maybe. Okay,
and they've played against a veteran team who's won a LAN championship, and absolutely this is going to give them the ability to potentially look to adapt some of their earlier playstyles. Once again, for all of you watching from home, we do just want to remind you that we do have Twitch linking available for the Paladins game channel. All you have to do is visit hirezstudios.com/link to link up your Hi-Rez account and your Twitch account, and you have a chance at winning swag and loot in-game just by watching the streams today.
But that's not all. We have the digital loot pack available as well. This is guaranteed in-game rewards. This is a lot of exclusive stuff that you're not going to be able to get forever. It's 3 skins, Ying, Victor, Fernando, MVP poses, sprays, all HRX themed.
Absolutely, and as we said earlier, you can spray that on the wall after you get a double kill, a triple kill, maybe a pentakill, and say, hey, maybe. Paladins Esports, I'm all about that. So stay tuned for more Paladins action coming up next. Black Dragons versus Team QG. Stay tuned.
Hey, Paladins fans.